20-year-old Long Island, New York native, Angelica might say she was just born to shop. Her mother, Lisa, calls it something else.
My name is Lisa, and my daughter is a shopaholic.
My mom still thinks that this is a dress that I bought for $10, but it's actually BB, and it was $180. These I snuck into the house over the summer. I tend to hide stuff in my trunk. They were like $750. I told her it was like on sale for $50, but it was really like $300. My mom doesn't know about these either. I actually had to hide the box.
It's hard being a parent. It's just like a really tough time, and the pressure is building here.
I predominantly shop for boots. It's not shoes. Like, I know Sex and the City and Carrie Bradshaw, that was the whole, like, girls love shoes. I understand. It's not sandals, it's not high heels, it's not stilettos, it's not sneakers, it's boots. I collect them. They make me feel powerful. Can shoes do that?
I've given her everything. She's spoiled. I gave Angelica my credit card, and I gave her one with her name on it.
The sale rack. What am I doing at the sale rack?
Angelica is a full-time student who lives at home with her 2 siblings and her parents, both of whom are currently unemployed.
I don't have time to really hold a job to pay for all these things, and my mom certainly can't afford it anymore.
I give it to you for emergencies and gas only, and then you go everywhere else.
I won't do it again.
Lisa feels her daughter's shopping has spiraled out of control.
This room is actually stuffed to capacity at this point. She's got 3 armoires, 2 big closets, and they're stuffed to capacity. She's just constantly buying. She hides all the shopping bags in that corner by the armoire.
These robes go good in my room, and I like opening my closet and seeing that they match my bed sheets, and I never wear them.
The OCD she gets from her mother. I'm so neurotic.
Dr. Terrence Schulman is a therapist who specializes in compulsive spending. He says obsessive-compulsive behaviors like perfectionism are common in shopping addicts.
A lot of that comes from this feeling of wanting or needing to be perfect and never living up to that, and going to this well of whatever the addiction is, in this case shopping, to give that momentary sense of completeness and perfection.
Whether it's boots or hats or makeup, Angelica's shopping habits fall under the collector category of shopping addict.
This is her newest edition here. It's pretty big. Look at this thing. I just found out about it about 2 weeks ago. Obviously, she was collecting this with her paychecks when she was working.
Mac, Apple Store, Macy's, Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom.
But makeup's not the only thing Angelica's collecting.
After I go shopping, like, the receipts will pile up. And it's like, all right, I have to empty it out because it's so bulky. Like, you have no idea how bulky it can get with all those receipts. This is just probably from, like, the last few months, and these are only the ones I've kept.
Angelica has resorted to hiding her receipts and purchases from her mom in order to keep her shopping addiction a secret.
We actually have a really good relationship. She's like my best friend, so that makes it hard for me to have to hide stuff from her. I feel bad lying to her, but at the same time, fighting with her is so much worse. I think I need to keep the secret because it's just a hassle. Like, she'll get really mad and cause a fight. When my mom yells, it's cool. When she cries...
And she's like, it's for an emergency, for gasoline. So, of course, I'm a good parent. I gave it back. Unless maybe that makes me a bad parent. I don't know.
Estranged from her family, 20-year-old Rachel doesn't answer to anyone except her whims. Since moving to the city 5 months ago, she's bankrolled her shopping habit through steady modeling work.
Well, I make a significant amount of money to be 20. That totally helps. I just feel this switch in my brain that goes off. It says, man, I don't have enough of that. I need to get lots. And then I just never stop. I just can't help myself. It's just like this little beacon in my brain. that just makes me like, oh, the store. Oh, the shoes. Clothes and shoes. Shopping in LA is like a divine experience. I shop like every day, though.
And we live in a very image-obsessed society. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with wanting to look nice and have a nice home. The question is balance. And some people just can't regulate or balance that. It just becomes obsessive and compulsive.
Mike Klein knows all about Rachel's spending. He's her mentor, manager, and business partner.
When she's upset and she goes out and shops and then she becomes happy.
Emotional distress triggers the shopping for sure. If I'm like upset over some business thing or somebody just really irked me that day, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to the store and forget about it. My 20th birthday, I bought myself a limousine.
It's part of her business. She has to look good all the time.
The better you dress, the easier it is to get people to even talk to you. Oh my God, I love that. Oh, please be 34. It's 34B. Damn it. I can smash. It'll be okay. Yes, I'm going to see if they have the biggest size somewhere.
The image shopper is maybe happy for about 5 seconds when they think they've got the perfect this or the perfect that, but because their core sense of self is fractured or shattered, it's a bottomless pit.
While Rachel uses shopping to build her image in LA, 43-year-old Diane in Idaho uses her shopping to mask lifelong hurts.
Good girl, hurry up.
I think it's something that I probably struggled with my whole life. I didn't realize it. I came from a family of shoppers, so I never saw shopping as a real problem. I thought it was just a way of life. One of my earliest memories of shopping is I remember going with my mother and we were leaving the store and I had a quarter and I had a fit at the counter because I had to buy something. I had to have something for that quarter. That was just the way my mind worked already when I was probably, 7 years old. People have asked me, well, how did you know your parents loved you? And I said, because they bought me things.
About half the people I work with have actually, this has been modeled, the over shopping and spending in their childhood by their parents. They were spoiled or overindulged, and so they just kind of take that often into their adulthood with them.
I was actually born in Heidelberg. My family, being German, were very stoic. They weren't very affectionate people. It's just by nature. I wasn't really told I love you, and there was not a lot of hugs and things like that. There's that equating love with things and identifying myself with things. And if I'm not surrounded by beautiful things, then who am I and where's my love?
The beautiful jewelry which Diane favors also holds greater symbolism for her.
I know that one of the reasons I shop for fine jewelry is in my 20s, I was very slim. I felt very beautiful. I had a lot of attention. I think a lot of women go through this phase where they start to feel invisible. You get a little heavier, you get a little older, and I think that I feel so uncomfortable in my skin that I buy the jewelry to almost hide behind it. I want you to look at all of the stuff around me. I don't want you to look at this.
This desire to mask herself with jewelry has gotten Diane $55,000 into debt. Climbing out of that hole has brought Diane much stress and compromised her quality of life.
The stupid thing about it is that the monthly minimum payments equal what we could probably have fun and go do things with. I get so mad at myself and I think, oh, I hadn't been so stupid. I could be doing those things, but I can't because I put us in such a black hole. I didn't tell him how much it was adding up. We have nowhere to push it but to credit. We have no savings. We have nothing.
I do believe Diane needs to seek treatment.
Secrecy, lies, and self-destructive behaviors are the hallmarks of addiction. More volatile. Lisa seems unable to take away Angelica's credit card for good and rein in her daughter's habit. Perhaps her own childhood plays a part.
My dad was very strict. I had to pay for my own prom dress, It was like $80 back in the days, and he would write down on a piece of paper $80, and every week I would give him $20, and he would initial it until I paid my debt. I try really hard to give my kids everything I possibly can that I didn't have.
So often people will get into a mode where they're trying to almost make up for what they didn't get materially, and they often will try to do that to their children. I don't want my kids to grow up like I grew up. And it's well-intended, but it's slightly or dramatically amiss, and it becomes a monster.
When I was a kid, yeah, we used to always go shopping together, and everyone would always get something.
She actually had a silver baby rattle when she was born from Tiffany's. So she definitely was spoiled, yes. I bought her the best clothes. She had the most adorable little get-ups, all the frills in her hair, the little headbands. I took care of her.
As for Angelica, the fights, the fact that her family is drowning in a sea of medical bills.
Life.
In Idaho, Diane also uses shopping to project a certain image, one of youth and beauty. But unlike Rachel, money is an issue.
I love when I walk into an estate sale and it's just filled with antiques. And I mean, it's almost like my heart just starts beating. On my way to lunch, I just happened to see a sign for an estate sale, so I had to go find it. I'll see something and it just clicks in my brain. I become obsessed with it, and I think if I don't get that, I will never see it again. Look at this bed, the inlay. Isn't that cool? And my brain just starts working its way around, like, how can I get that item?
Although her shopping has put her more than 50 grand in debt, she's kept the secret from her husband, Neil, until now.
It's a complex issue about whether to tell people about your issues or your addiction, who to tell, how to tell them, when to tell them.
Up until recently, nobody knew. I kept it all inside. If anything, I played the charade that I had the money. Oh, keeping that secret, it was horrible. And I still have to do it to a big extent. It would be hard to work, and it would affect my work. And it was just a lot of sleepless nights. I mean, it would really come to me at night, just wondering how I could pay for things and just the stress of it all.
Most couples decide who's going to pay the bills and be in charge of that. She likes to be in charge of the money, so I relinquished my ability on all of that.
As much as I didn't lie to him about him, I didn't tell him how much it was adding up. And then one day, I finally told him, and he was in complete shock.
I didn't know we were in that much debt.
And it's probably at about $55,000 in debt, and that's totally unsecured credit card debt.
I wasn't surprised, but it just gives you that gut-wrenching blow of, oh my God.
I think I'm more terrified about it than I've ever been before.
What do we have to show for it but a bunch of jewelry and things like that?
It's just time to finally, come clean with it and stop all the hiding. And if I can't afford it, just be honest with myself. And I think that's the main person I need to be honest with, is myself, that I can't afford it anymore.
I do believe Diane needs to seek treatment for her addiction.
Because I know things have to change.
Diane's willingness to admit she has a problem could be the first step in her recovery, but she'll also need counseling and the support of her husband, Neil. And of course, it can cause serious financial strife, as is the case with shopaholic Diane. She recently confessed to her husband, Neil, that they are $55,000 into debt, and has agreed to meet with Dr. Terrence Schulman, who treats people who are addicted to shopping.
Diane has had a problem with debt most of her life. People often will get themselves out of debt, but if they don't change the underlying issue, they'll find themselves right back in the same trouble.
Hello, Diane.
Terry.
Come on out here.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Thank you. It's my first time here in Idaho.
Great, come on in.
Beautiful day today. Diane, from what I've learned, she's been over shopping for quite a while, and particularly she says there's 3 main items that she tends to get obsessed about. Collecting these very intricate dolls, fine art or antique art, and also particularly fine jewelry or antique jewelry.
So this is one of my biggest obsessions. This is probably where a lot of the $50,000 debt went.
Okay.
I love fine jewelry. And a lot of the fine jewelry I buy is at pawn shops because I don't want to pay the retail. So let me show you some of my favorite pieces. This is a custom ring that I got at a pawn shop down in Austin, Texas. I got this again at a pawn shop, and this is an old antique kunzite. This is like, you know, a diamond cluster ring. It has very fine, nice diamonds in it. This was $1,300.
Okay.
And at a pawn shop again. And probably retail would be $4,000 to $5,000.
It seems like a lot of your accomplishments have been based on getting the deal or getting the rare find and making your home beautiful. Are there other things that you're proud of? Like, are you proud of any other accomplishments in your life or anything else that you've kind of built in your life?
Maybe it's almost like a midlife crisis I'm going through because I don't feel like I've accomplished a lot of things in my life. It's kind of opening a huge Pandora's box of emotions and feelings and stuff that I stuffed down with all the shopping.
I think a lot of times people just fall into kind of a default mode of focusing on all this stuff.
It's kind of freaked me out to realize that, like, there is a lot kind of missing from my life. You know, one of the things, we don't have kids. Should I have had kids? Maybe, you know, I don't even know the answer to that for sure.
Terrence decides to see Diane in action to learn more about her shopping impulses.
I'm going to be working with her to go through a process that can help her slow her thinking down so that she can center herself and maybe make better decisions. Living on the edge.
Yeah.
But obviously in the early going, it is hard. And people don't have this problem.
After her meeting with Dr. Schulman, Diane is determined to focus on the complicated emotions that are behind her addiction.
And you know what, when you're talking to a person who shops and travels and you tell them you can't shop and travel for 7 years, it's like a death sentence to me. So I'm going through a period of mourning almost. Because I know things have to change. So it's like I'm going through a lot of grief and a lot of mourning right now.
Compulsive bargain shopper Diane hopes she's on the road to recovery after meeting with Dr. Terrence Schulman.
I always knew I had a shopping problem, but I never said, where is that void?